decompose, then there's still plenty of seashell that won't. So it's not a problem. And it's usually not a problem anyway. There's enough grit in these bins for the worms. But on a big feeding like this, I do want to make sure they have plenty. I'm not going to add any extra coffee grounds because there was a lot of coffee grounds in this feeding. And so I don't think I need to add any more. I'm not going to add any of my dry worm food this week, but I will probably have to next week because that is a pretty wet feeding and it's probably going to turn that bin pretty muddy. So, oh, there I go again with the camera, forgetting where I'm pointing it. I will get better at this. And on that, that's another thing I do that would be interesting probably to some people. Because I keep the plastic on here, the bin can get a little extra too wet, actually, not extra damp. It can get too wet because I'm constantly recirculating that moisture, not letting it dry out. So what I do to combat that, I'll just show a little bit here, I won't put too much, is I will, usually with each feeding, or even sometimes on its own, I will go through and put straight out of the package rice, and dry rice, down in with my feedings and mix it in with my castings and let that dry rice absorb some of the extra moisture. And so, you know how rice does, it soaks up water extraordinarily well. And then when it's soft, of course, the worms will get rid of it. They'll eat it up. And then not only that, I have a chicken food bag, but really it's rabbit food. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of the chicken food left in there. Let's see if I get the camera to focus. But so these are little pellets of alfalfa, and they're dry, and so when you put them in there, they absorb moisture, and then it turns, this expands as it collects the moisture and turns to a mush. And so that's another way I get some of the excess moisture out of my bins, by mixing this stuff in, and the rice that absorbs a lot of the extra moisture and keeps my bins from getting too soupy. And you can see they really have a good consistency. I do a pretty good job at keeping them from getting too damp, but you do got to have them, it's a fine line between too damp and not enough moisture. So this is definitely enough moisture, but having this extra wet feeding is not going to hurt a thing on this one, because it's just about right. But these leaves and everything, they need that moisture to help break them down, and a good moist bin can just break down food so much better than a dry bin. But again, there's a fine line between a good moist bin and a wet swampy bin. I don't know that the line's actually that fine. The worms can survive it being very, very, very wet, but it's not the best for the bin itself. It's not the best for the composting for it to be extraordinarily wet, and it's not the best for your castings. I am going to go ahead and throw a little bit of food in here since I have some left in the bucket. I guess I'll just go ahead and dump this in this bucket. We'll leave that sludge in the bucket. Take these eggshells out. Where's my trash bowl go? Alright, bring this back over here. Let's see some more. Lots of avocado skins in this lot from my farmer friend, which we will use it to get rid of these mites, I guess. The mites do tend to like avocado skins. But I got a feeling that any mites that I get in my bins probably comes from my farmer friend. And that's okay. The mites ain't a big problem for worm bins. Anyway, these red mites haven't seemed to be a problem. I got no problem admitting I don't know enough about mites. But these red mites, I think they just seem to help break down food. I only see them on foods. Food scraps, I don't ever see them attached to the worms. So I think the red mites are okay, but they are annoying. I don't like them getting overpopulated in my bins. So I always, if I find a piece of food scrap that's got a lot on it, I'll haul it out. Any chance I can haul out a handful of mites, I take it. There's plenty of more food. I can find more food for the worms, so I'll take the advantage of being able to haul the mites out of the bin. Well, I'm not going to be able to get that one off either, so it's going to stay in there. I'll just have a hairy bin next week. Because these bananas, they're already mostly broke down. What happened was I froze this, and then I thawed it, and then I froze it again, because he brought it 2 days ago. And so I immediately put it in the freezer, and then I took it out, and I thought I was going to feed the next day, and then I didn't. And so I put it back in the freezer this morning, and then I took it out before I left from work this evening, and then I came back to feed the worms tonight and make this video. And I haven't completely thawed, but mostly. But so that freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing really has done a number on these things, and I think they're going to go pretty quick. So now I will go get some fresh paper to put down, and I'll be pretty much done. I end up with these pieces of paper here that are about that wide, cut off from architectural drawings, and so that's what I tend to use to put down in the bin. And we'll put some nice plastic on the top to recirculate that moisture, and just a little bit of weight. And for some reason I grabbed one piece of paper. I also like to put this, it's newspaper material, and I like to use it. This isn't the newspaper, I don't get the paper, but the grocery store has these free things outside the grocery store door. So once a week I'll grab one of those and use it in the bins. Alright, so this is how I put my paper in. I don't cover the entire surface, like I said before, because I want the worms to have easy access to get on top. They will, you've seen they do end up eating it, even though they can get on top of it easily. They'll eat their way back down into the dirt when they're done doing what they do. Also, just a quick misting. You know, you don't want to make you want to try to do this without making your bed any more wet. So just a quick misting on that paper. And that moisture will draw those worms up. And on this bin, I use this clear plastic instead of that cat food bag. They both work equally good. I do have a cat food bag for this one, and sometimes I put it on top like that. And then, because I've been leaving this light on, and then I keep this little bug strip, because sometimes you just get gnats around the bin. I've been leaving the light on because I got a couple starter seedlings for my garden in here. And we just haven't had nice enough weather yet for me to put them by the window, because it's still getting too cold by the window. So they've been staying here in the warm room. And that's how I cover my bin. Oh, not completely. I use that cardboard to create the darkness, and then I just set a little piece of wood on there for just a little weight. And on to the next one. I'm just going to put one of those down. I'll give it a little spray. And then we'll cover it up. And it kind of gets the same treatment, the clear plastic. And this one I did in 2 pieces for some reason. I don't know why, but it works just as well. Did I fling a worm off of there? Yes. Come here, worm. Get in there. Alright. Had a worm emergency. Alright. Then, kind of the same thing. Some cardboard down and that piece of wood on top. Wait. Oh, I forgot that. That usually goes down on top of the cardboard, but whatever. It'll still work. And that's this week in worm bins, I guess. And that's how I do my worm bins. I hope you learned something. If you got any ideas, post them below. I'll always be willing to share my ideas with you and just take them for what they are. There are no wrong ways to do a worm bin. So if you don't do your worm bins anything like this and your worms are thriving, then good for you. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. There's just your way. As long as the worms are doing good, that's all that matters. So thanks for watching my video, and I will get better at this, I promise. If I continue to make more and more videos, it's bound to happen, right? So here's hoping. Subscribe if you want to be notified if I make any more videos. You can like and comment. What that does is help the YouTube algorithms realize somebody's watching the video, and so they might share it to the suggestions page and stuff like that. So basically, when YouTubers are telling you like and comment, what they're asking you, why they're asking you to do that is because YouTube will see where you liked and commented, and so it says, hey, somebody's watching this video, let's share it and let other people know that this might be a good video for them to watch. So, subscribe to see more, and you can like and comment if you want others to see it. And you can also share it if you wanted others to see it. But otherwise, just check back with me and see if I get any better at this later on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.